How's it going? I need to stop starting my intros like this. This kid fucking... it's so unprofessional. No. Okay, well... So, I had a video planned for the end of Horror Week. You know, because weeks we were doing that thing. I finished recording it. Got through it all. And then I realized... First off, my mic wasn't plugged in. Awesome. Second off, I wasn't even recording the right screen. Literally all you saw was this. This is all you saw. Just my face. So the entire video is like really quiet audio that got picked up from my headphones and just my face. Awesome. So, it ended a little early. Sorry to say. Shut up. We're moving on. Okay. The Beginner's Guide. Shit. Okay. We're playing The Beginner's Guide. So, chapters. I'm just gonna play this all the way through. Is that a fucking Counter-Strike map? Is that one Counter-Strike map? Oh, it's on. I have no clue how long this game is. Got it.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The sensitivity is wild. It's not even that high.
floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I don't know if this will do it. Maybe I chose the wrong game. We'll see. I have a feeling. Oh shit, what the fuck? Oh shit. Whoa. 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 Wait, hold on.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Damn. I can't shoot my gun. Holy shit. This went 0 to 100 real quick.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life forms inbound.
I'm ready for you. I'm ready for you.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Oh yeah,
But
I figured that out.
We don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shielded activation.
I
neutralized him. That was me. I want to shoot my gun again, please.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room. Apparently, the space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it?
The hell? No.
Would you give yourself?
No. Who do you think I am? Damn.
Let me pause here for a second.
Cooked
What
me.
you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh. What the? Why is that an option? Or are we doing it again? Damn.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
This looks like a horror game. Also, I can't move. Oh, there we go.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Are you fucking serious? What the fuck? Oh, I don't like this. This is...
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
How will she find strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say,
shit.
and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Okay. I have... Ooh. I don't like that. I have a feeling I know how this is gonna end, and... Will it make me cry? Probably not. Might hit, though. Might hit me. Say this series will stop if I whenever I shed a tear. And I mean, like, shed the tear. Like, no watery eye. I mean, shed the tear. The Mega Gay Zone! That's where I'm entering.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Oh, fuck.
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I'm getting slower.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Thank you for doing that, because I would have died. I would have fucking...
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Somebody... Oh my gosh, bro, please. I want to read them. Ready, set, fish. Some of them were pretty good ideas. Or just pretty funny. Damn. This series might just be depressing. I don't know why anyone would watch this shit.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
This ain't no puzzle. The hell do you mean? Oh, does it?
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. we're gonna see it a lot.
Why? Why though?
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
What the hell?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior, and then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Oh shit, we're back. Here it is, guys. Here's the final horror game.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Damn. Just got flashbangs.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Was I supposed to jump down here? Oh. Okay. Fuck, I can't get in there. Bro, this makes me feel like I'm in the Matrix. Yeah. Mr. Anderson. Here pretty soon a wall of guns is gonna pop up.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Nah, I want the full experience.
This is something that he
Put
and I
me
used
in
to
there.
argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I replayed every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
I don't know why, but my instinct
It's the
is
puzzle
to just
again, with the
spam the
exact
jump
same
button.
solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
See, I think I'd say this game makes you think. Makes you use the little brain. Makes you use the little 2 brain cells that each of us. Oh,
Here,
You
Coda
there.
begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
You there? Did you come from up above? What was up there? Floating colored blocks. You've been there. This is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? I'd prefer not to tell you. We just met, man. You're a stranger to me. You don't understand. We are trapped here. This puzzle is our only escape. We need to get through it. I think you want to get through it, but trust me, you don't. Alright, let me describe it to you. Let me play a little game. I need to actually be there. I cannot simply be told what it is. I must see it myself. I must escape this prison. There must be an ending. Okay. No, been right here this entire time. You should go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you could sit in the black space in the middle. What happens if I solve it? Not sure, but if I have any, I did not read that.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
My room smells terrible.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
All right. ...2009. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you leave notes. All notes you left by other players. Lies. 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 You lied to me. Lie to me. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is gonna happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Boring. I don't actually have to go through all this, do I? Wrong. We need to go to the friggin' bathroom. We need to go to the friggin' bathroom. You guys want to read all like 6 trillion of these messages? Oh shit, I didn't think we'd... I'm not safe. Oh shit. Oops. Oops, I accidentally clicked the sticky keys. Whoops.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Speak. Go forget it.
Okay, this
What?
one's tough. It's gonna kinda just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
It's an interesting title.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
What furniture ought to go into the center of the room? A giant hole in the ground? Sure. That's not what I wanted. 10 stoves lined up against the wall. This isn't what I want. This is dumb. We should light up this room. Tesla coils. Put some Tesla coils. Alright.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
This might be the scariest place I've ever been in. An IKEA.
So, okay, He throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Please walk forward. Got it. The guide will enable you to escape any prison fire. Follow instructions carefully. Click on this table. Now go to the photo and click to turn it slightly. Now turn the floor lamp in this room off, then turn it back on. Go to the other side, so if touch the shelves. The shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. I don't want to be taken back to my prison. Oh, shit.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out, and then things will be exactly the same as before. No, I'm really the same person now as I was back then. It's the worst thing I can imagine. Don't worry. It's actually not a bad thing, I promise. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No. I'm the first person to call. Then you could tell me how to get out. Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? To get out, just talk with me for a bit. What? That will free me? How does that work? It'll make sense. Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk for a bit. Will you be here? I will be here for as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
How would he do that?
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
It's a nice-ass house. Well, my goodness. I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself. Right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Don't worry about me. A place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night. Getting ahead of yourself, no? Start cleaning, then you decide whether you do it all night. I'll finish up here. Could you please clear the table? Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now would you please go into the bedroom and make the bed? While you're in there, straighten out the rug a bit. Little details matter. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? Well, I don't enjoy it as much as I need it. While I'm working, I feel kind of calm that rests in the pit of my ribcage. My soul just can't be soothed any other way, it seems. Which I guess is all about all that matters. Oh, and that tidy couch. Would you straighten the pillows on the sofa out here? I think I know what this is getting at. Oh dear, looks like you spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop up, as long as you're over there. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Yeah. Make it extra cheesy. No. No, it was stupid, sorry. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? And hold the tomato sauce. Hold the tomato sauce. Hold the crust. Hold the crust. Jimmy. Give me an extra cheese with none. Last I checked, the tub needed a cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? No need to be perfect. We're all just human. You still books scattered on the floor of the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? You got it, Mr. Man. Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off
After
the
the
table?
intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
House cleaning is so difficult. How do you do it? Darling, let me tell you, it's only as difficult as you make it. If you're
I know
finding the work
Carter
hard,
really
maybe...
liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Looks like the tub's gotten rather dirty. Would you mind tidying it up a bit? Earlier, I said I had a really cheesy thought. I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. Take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. There's a bit of truth of it in it, no? Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you clean up the books? Thanks. I want to say some things, but maybe I should hold it till the end. Goodness,
glad
this
he
pillow's
made
over
this.
like...
I'm glad he found some peace.
Question.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive. Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Items you love
This
at
one
members
gets
only
a bit
prices.
goofy.
I like goofy. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to be perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself? Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is, not how we do it, but how we do it effortlessly. This is easy. It's so easy. It's so
About
easy.
halfway through the game,
Being
perspective
perfect is
shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly,
we got a little problem.
You discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
I told it you can only choose the first option. Oh, never mind. On the way to work, I told an elderly person to start contributing to society. I still love you, it's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. Drinking is not hurting my life. Ew, I'm developing a cyst. Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love me? This is for you. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? There is no truth. There is no path. Holy shit! Guys! Something's coming in the back of the room! Look out! 3. Run! I'll probably choose it.
This one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
We're nearing the end. 2000. You said 2011,
This
right?
one took a
2008
lot
to
longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Oh. Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you'll start out leaning against this wall. Oh. Good, stay right there. Woman across the room. In this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is one chance to learn something from her, to gain something to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello? Hey! Bro, I have no game. Just chill out. Be a human being. Do it again. I like you. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There was a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent people nearby. Shit, bro, I'm not gonna get anything done. Oh, hell yeah. Oh. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. Bro, what am I supposed to say? You'll freak her out with it gets personal. Important. Do you not realize how important this... What? I'll never get another opportunity like this again. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. It's the lamppost. Damn. Oh yeah. Now this is working.
With this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Mobius strip. You must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Blind. Should we play this with our eyes closed? Alright. I gotta see if I'm actually doing anything. Oh. Oh. Am I gonna be killed by a giant door? Yes. Oh.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
So speak something that is honest. I can't keep making these. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off,
draining me.
He's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Where am I? Anyone there? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I try and create, I feel empty. Oh no. What happened? Did something change? I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. You're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Now you have to close the first door.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
So you're doing it so much that you love it 100% of the time. Okay. Just keep saying that creation is easy.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
The machine. Hello, guard. You can begin the interrogation. I intend to be brutal. Very good. Should be warned that someone called the press, so we might have to a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It itself. It calls itself Coda.
And of course,
stopped.
it's the machine.
Your work was keeping us healthy. It's only because of this creation that any of us can make it through the day. So here's what needs to happen. Not that I've been so alone. Apologize for leaving me. Nothing? Alright. I'll apologize to the people on your behalf. My friends, it falls on me to deliver the bad news. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. But it's not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. Let us pay it retribution. Follow me. We will destroy the machine and everything that the machine has created. Ooh. Ooh. Coda! I'll make sure your work dies here. Is that what you're scared of? Having to live without your precious creations? To have to deal with yourself?
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Oh shit.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Won't fix it.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look. And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, The Tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it. Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the level, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Yeah, please do. This is hurting my eyes.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Fuck.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first two challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up? I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself. And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean? I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself. That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Damn. That did not take the turn that I thought.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you. If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Hmm. I didn't think, not the direction I thought I was gonna go in. I thought, not gonna lie, I thought the friend was about to jump off a tower, if you know what I mean. That's crazy, though. The friend was, or the narrator was, the one that needed help.
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove
Been
that
impossible to follow.
I'm brave. Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired. But I know that you're strong.
So that was the beginner's guide. Uh, Definitely not bawl your eyes out sad, but more sad because it's like probably hits home for a lot of people. For most people, probably it's not even. Uh, at the beginning, it makes it feel like it's about a friend with a mental illness who's reaching out for help. But in reality, it's the narrator who feels like they misread the situation. They feel like they have to make their friend feel better in order for themselves to feel better. But it's just an excuse to get validation by releasing these games under his own name. I don't know. Well, if you made it this far, thank you. Sorry for the depressing episode. A little different from our usual stuff, but it definitely made me think. So, thank you to everybody who ends up, if you get all the way through, and heck, I will see you another time. Peace.